It's something very important I want to say. So, just now we were on our walk out, and there's this field that Gabriel walks over, which has just been dug up, a new field. Not a new field, but it's, the harvest is over and it's been dug up, and he finds it fun to walk on a freshly dug up field. So he's been walking on it the past 2 times we were out. Today, when we went there and he was about to walk on, there were 2 thugs there, presumably the owner of that field, maybe, most probably. And you know what he did, Ed? The motherfucker started peeing in front of us. I didn't see anything. I turned away because I'm used to this shit. And Gabriel doesn't react to that crap. But I'm just telling you, the son of a bitch started peeing in front of us. Look at this, another son of a bitch. So we have like a parade of motherfuckers out today, Ed. You know why, all the important shit happening and the extra torture and all that. Anyhow, so Ed, the thing I want to tell you is that we people who have gone through the school system and everything, reading books, watching the mainstream movies and news and everything, we think that the thug world is running by the rule of law, whatever that is in a country, Ed. And we think that there is this culture of the people that we see in the movies and all of that. And we think that people are making their decisions and their moves based on the culture, based on what's legal and what's illegal and all of that. The truth is that thug world always has and always will be running on very, very primal moves for domination. And domination is essentially sexual. And they have stopped us from knowing this, from seeing and recognizing the primal cues and the primal gestures that naturally in nature we would have. And in doing so, they have made us unable to know when someone is attacking us and how to deal with that. I want to tell you, Ed, that several times in my life, I've been in situations where I was very unsafe and I didn't know anything else to do in the moment, but I got primal and I just followed my instinct and I got out safe. Like one time I had to walk through this place very late in the night. The person who was supposed to pick me up from church didn't come. And to go to the bus stand, I had to go through this kind of slum area. And not any slum, Ed, but one that was notorious for having a rapist and murderer in every house. Literally, more than that. It was a very dangerous and horrible atmosphere, Ed. Very horrible. And you know, Ed, I was like 16 or 17 then. Pretty and all that. And some instinct took me over, Ed. And I changed my body language. I walked like a demon. Like a 70 or 80-year-old demon. My body language, Ed, I changed and I walked through that place. And nobody troubled me, even whistled or hooted. In other places, at better quality places, so to speak, I couldn't go one street without somebody whistling or trying to make a pass at me. But because I changed my body language, Ed, I got through that place safely that night. My granddad, Ed, he taught me, Ed, to hiss like a serpent. And I have played animal noises on my computer when I have felt unsafe at many times in my life. You know, I would play dogs barking, snake sounds. I have used primal cues to be safe a lot in my life. Another thing, Ed, that I learned over the years is that the fake population They are not, most of the time, at those who are doing ritual ops, they are not purely human DNA. I would say the 99% of the fake population have some animal DNA or the other in them. Unlike us, if, for example, a human drinks milk, we will not start retaining or having cow energy or cow DNA patterns. We won't, because we have our soul that is dictating our human constitution. We have a spiritual connection, Ed, with the animal spirit. Spiritual. We don't have truncated DNA. We have, all of us, Ed, every human soul. A soul is an infinite being, Ed, that can manifest as different animals and have different qualities of different animals while being a human. But the DNA is complete. Human DNA is human DNA. It will never become, truncated. But the fake populations, in an attempt to imitate our powers of primal animal abilities, in an attempt to imitate us, Ed, they directly modified human DNA, combining it with animal DNA. And they use this, Ed, in various ways, like shark DNA is used for politicians. You can recognize them, Ed, you can recognize shark DNA. And crocodile DNA is very common in celebrities. And the ones around us are predominantly rodents, Ed. And you'll find that the fake population, you can tell who drinks goat milk and eats mutton because they look, sound and behave like goats. You can tell at the fake population by how they start looking, behaving and sounding and everything like whatever they're eating of the animal world. It's a big difference between us and them, because we can eat anything, we still be human, we won't start behaving like what we're eating. But it's not the case for them. So now what I'm saying is that one of the reasons the thugs have made their population like that is so that they can use primal predator kind of body language to scare us, to terrify us. And when we become aware, Ed, like that this is happening and that we are humans, and we begin to use our primal walk in our primal humanity, in our primal energy fields, in our primal what do you call it, Ed? Swag. Because swag, Ed, doesn't mean like showing off or being boorish, not attitude, but our primal way of being, Ed. When we're not apologetic. As soon as we become apologetic for being human, as soon as we feel ashamed of being in our body, of being our body, then we lose the swag and we come out of the primal, we come out of our primal way of being, Ed, our primal energy through, our primal gate. And this, Ed, signals, because I'm telling you, they all are given animal DNA and everything, and this makes them, Ed, the demons automatically take advantage of us. And it starts, Ed, with just being really proud of being in the body that we're in, no longer ashamed for sure, and being just so in the moment, Ed, being willing to be primal, willing. Because, Ed, the whole problem is not that we can't be or that we are not primal. We are, because we're humans. The problem, Ed, is that we're told that we shouldn't be primal, and we're made to look down upon ourselves for it. We got to learn, Ed. I learn so much from Gabriel every day, Ed, because he's a primal man. He's non-verbal, but he communicates so well. And being with him, Ed, I've learnt so much, Ed. And there's nothing wrong with being primal. It's the only way to protect ourselves. We got to learn, Ed, what people mean, what their body language is saying. We got to start looking at what their hands are doing, Ed, looking at where their feet are going. I remember, Ed, there was this guy, one of the hostage takers. He told me he's my friend and he doesn't have romantic intentions towards me. And I believed him, Ed. And he didn't have romantic intentions towards me. He was gay gay. But he did have mental intentions to get into a relationship with me. But he deceived me, Ed. And Ed, I went traveling all over India trusting him, sleeping in the same hotel room and all of that, thinking that he didn't have any such intentions towards me. And then, Ed, to my shock, at one time, he said he's in a lot of depression and all, and asked me to go with him to a psychologist as his friend. He said, because you're the person who knows me so well and all that, please come speak to my psychologist. And a big appointment was made, big hospital. We had to sit 2 hours in a queue. It was so stupid. But anyhow, Ed, because he said he wants to unalive himself and all that, I thought, whatever, I'll just do it once if it's going to help in any way at all. And we go there, Ed, and the psychologist starts asking me questions about me. And those were the days, Ed, when I was really slow. I just, I couldn't really suspect anyone of things. So I was answering her. And then, Ed, I look under the table and I find she's shaking her feet at me, Ed. Like fanning her feet at me, shaking her feet at me when asking me those questions. And Ed, I got alerted. I thought something is wrong here. Why? Her body language alerted me, Ed, that something is wrong. On top of the table, Ed, she was looking like such a kind and involved psychologist, but under the table her feet were not shaken, but like they were waving at me. I knew something was wrong. And then as she starts asking me how come I'm not married, and basically she was asking me why I don't marry him. Can you believe this shit? And then she asks him and he says, oh, I'm ready to marry her anytime. I got such a shock. I was like, what the fuck? All these years he told me he's not interested in me that way. And that's why I trusted him. I thought he's my friend. I went traveling with him, sleeping in the same hotel rooms and, going to so many restaurants with him, traveling with him. And I was like, and all this time he had intentions of marrying me. I felt so betrayed. I was so shocked. And I'll tell you, Ed, because I had gotten alerted, I knew something was very wrong. And so I didn't react as I felt within. I knew I was in a situation of danger. So I just did some very superficial replies, and I got out of there. And then I didn't, Ed, even after that, I didn't directly say anything to anybody till I had escaped. Because I had gotten warned, Ed, by the feet waving. Because if there was a conspiracy against me where a government hospital doctor had that kind of body language, which means she was prepared for this. She was acting this out. I didn't know all this in my mind, Ed, but I knew that I was surrounded and I was in a situation where I couldn't be honest at all. So that's why, Ed, that being aware of body language can just really save you in life. That's what I want to say. Be primal. Give yourself permission to be primal all the time. Fuck what anybody thinks. Walk how you feel. Talk how you feel. Look. Stare. Those motherfuckers do all that. Look at what you want to look. If somebody is getting sexual physically while speaking with you like they're not, notice it. And if you're safe, call them out on it. React and say that that's not appropriate. That's sexually abusive. I'm not with you like that. You can't do that to me. That's making me uncomfortable and I don't like it. I feel, Ed, that humans are under sexual abuse a lot these days. And got to start calling it out and reacting. Because otherwise, I know, Ed, from my experience, I used to just shrink away and avoid people. And what happened is, I ended up, Ed, not doing things I wanted to do because of avoiding abusers. So I'm just saying, if as much as a human can, instead of avoiding them and, losing, opportunities to do what you want, make them have to leave. Tell them you're sexually abusing me. That is inappropriate behavior. Point people out, and they are expecting us, Ed, to pretend like we're not noticing, as if it's something bad of us or whatever. But it's not bad. We have every right to demand decency from others. Decency, respect of boundaries and such. We have the right, and we must take the right, Ed, because otherwise they'll just go on doing it. Every time a human, Ed, points out to something and says that that's bad behavior, so many others will be saved from that, Ed, because they'll know that we're not buying that shit anymore. You know what I mean? We got to come back to being primal, Ed, because that's how we take back the world for our children. Because these motherfuckers, they're being primal, and the only reason they're doing it is because they think that we won't know, we won't be able to react because we don't know what their intentions are. And that's why it's time that we do.